What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that you are excited because the Dallas Cowboys have another preseason game going on this week on Friday night against the Arizona Cardinals. A lot has happened since the Cowboys last took the field in the Pro Football Hall of Fame game. They had a scrimmage against the Los Angeles Rams. They saw three franchise greats go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame over the weekend, and they are now television stars as if they weren't before. The premiere episode of Hard Knocks happened on Tuesday night. We did have a live reaction show that you can watch here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you do subscribe to the Blog of the Boys YouTube channel. We have a lot of fun stuff planned for you this season. So needless to say, things have been busy in the land of America's team. But like we said, there is a game that is taking place on Friday night out in the desert, and it's a late kick. I hope you're ready to be up late at night on Friday night. The Dallas Cowboys visiting the Arizona Cardinals, the last road preseason game for the Cowboys this season, as they will return home to DFW for the remainder of training camp and have their final two preseason games at AT&T Stadium against the Houston Texans and Jacksonville Jaguars before they take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road on September 9th, the Thursday, to open up the season. This game, if you are out of market, if you are not a DFW or Texas resident, will be on NFL Network. So 9 p.m. Central Time on Friday night. If you have NFL Network, you can watch this. So good for you. It's not something that you're not going to be able to see. That is a bit of a trick when it comes to the preseason every year. So shout out to NFL Network making this one of their like a billion preseason games that they are televising. By the way, we will have a live reaction show here on the YouTube channel as soon as the game is over to discuss everything that we saw. It will be late, but we will be here. We will have some fun. We do have post-game shows after every Dallas Cowboys game. If you want to listen to this, if you're on the road, if you're traveling, whatever the case may be, you can always listen to it on 105.3 The Fan, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. This is our preview show here on our channel, which means we have a lot of things to get to, some different things that we want to touch on, some different things we want to discuss. And one of the things that we do here on the preview show is we dive into the film room. Normally, we will be discussing players that the Cowboys need to watch out for when it comes to their regular season competition. But because this is the preseason, we are focusing on Cowboys players to pay attention to. And there are three that Matt Minich, our film room expert, believes that we should pay close attention to on Friday night.
The preseason is all about lesser-known players proving themselves and earning a job. Here are three Cowboys who impressed in their team's first preseason game. Can they keep it up on Friday night against the Cardinals? Offensive lineman Isaac Elorcon proved one thing on Thursday night. He is a people mover. He got excellent movement on this run, opening up a cutback lane for Brandon Knox. Elorcon has some great physical skills, but he needs to improve in pass protection. So keep an eye on him when the Cowboys are throwing the ball against the Cardinals. Rico Dowdle went undrafted in 2020, but impressed the Cowboys coaching staff enough in camp to make the final roster. And it looks like this year will be no different. Against the Steelers, Dowdle had 8 carries for 43 yards. This was his most explosive play of the day. He does a great job of reading the blocks in front of him and cutting behind the center's block on the backside linebacker. He shows great balance as he is nearly brought down by a shoestring tackle inside the 10-yard line, but he stays on his feet, picking up 25 yards on the play. From the surprise of last year's rookie class to a potential surprise in this year's rookie class, safety Israel Mukuamu was impressive on the NFL's opening night, and it looks like he could be a huge steal as a 6th-round pick for the Cowboys. In this clip, the Cowboys are blitzing and playing man coverage on 3rd down. The tight end runs straight at Mukuamu, thinking he can beat him with physicality, pushing off on the hitch route. He is wrong. He fails to get Mukuamu off his spot, and the rookie safety makes a great play on the ball to defend the pass. A defensive back who can match up physically with tight ends is a huge asset in today's NFL, especially in the NFC East. These are three Cowboys to keep an eye on against the Arizona Cardinals as they look to earn a role on the Cowboys 2021 roster.
Thanks a lot to Matt Minich for taking us inside the film room. Nice to see Israel Mukwamu getting some love, one of our friends here. We spoke to him today after the Cowboys drafted him. Very nice to see Isaac Alarcon, somebody who a lot of you have had a lot of questions about. He had a nice moment on Hard Knocks. He wants to eat cake. Hopefully there's a lot of opportunity for him to do that against Arizona. One of the offensive linemen who I think we're all kind of in a weird space about is somebody who's a little bit higher on the depth chart than Alarcon, and that is Ty Nsekhe, the veteran tackle that joined the Dallas Cowboys this offseason. This is somebody that I think we really need to see play well against the Cardinals. The Cowboys, as mentioned, signed Ty Nsekhe to be their swing tackle. We know that it is really, unfortunately, not a matter of if, but a matter of when. Either Tyron Smith or Lyle Collins is going to have to miss time for the Dallas Cowboys. And so this team has to have some swing tackle depth that they can rely on. We don't think that that's Brandon Knight. I don't think that any of us think it's Terrence Steele. So Ty Nsekhe was supposed to be that guy. He did not have a great debut game in the Hall of Fame game against the Steelers. Now, it's just one game. It's just the beginning of the preseason. There's no need to totally panic. There's no need to totally discard Ty Nsekhe and what he may or may not be able to bring the Cowboys this season as the potential swing tackle. But it was still something that did not make us feel good, and that is what we want to see corrected. We want to see Ty Nsekhe have a better day. Dak Prescott's not going to play, but this is going to be a game with more starters all the way around, both on the Dallas and Arizona side than we saw between the Cowboys and the Steelers last week. So Ty Nsekhe really needs, I think, for our ability to sleep at night, needs to be able to cement himself as the established swing tackle on this team so we don't have to worry about that depth coming into play later on down the line, week 8, week 9, when the season gets tough. But we also, I was going to say, we obviously have a number of different players that we're going to be paying attention to, but we have a number of different situations that we're going to be watching. Now, an unfortunate casualty of the Pro Football Hall of Fame game was fullback Siwo Olonilua, a difficult name to pronounce, obviously for me, mostly for you. We're going to try one more time. Siwo Olonilua. Congratulations to me. Totally nailed it. But Siwo is out at the moment, injured in the Pro Football Hall of Fame game, which opens the door for Nick Ralston to really kind of, shed some more attention, shed some more light on his game, on his abilities as a fullback within the Dallas Cowboys offense. Now, I don't know that the Cowboys are even going to carry a fullback. I don't know that I even would be bummed if they didn't carry a fullback. We know that this team has 3 running backs we feel very confident in Ezekiel Elliott, in Tony Pollard, in Rico Dowdle, who Matt talked about. And so if you want to go long somewhere else, if you want to carry an extra wide receiver, you want to carry an extra linebacker, you want to carry an extra corner, I think I'd rather have that than a fullback, especially if the Cowboys are going to carry 4 tight ends with Blake Jarwin, Dalton Schultz, Sean McEwen, and Jeremy Sprinkle. So this is an opportunity for Nick Ralston. I don't know that this opportunity would have popped up if it hadn't been for Siwo getting hurt, which again is unfortunate, but that's the way the preseason goes. These opportunities show up at different stages, and you have to capitalize them. Nick Ralston is somebody who has an opportunity. We'll see if he is ultimately able to make good on it against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, we do have one more player that we're going to be paying close attention to when it comes to the Friday night game on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. But before we do that, we're going to bring in one of our writers at blogoftheboys.com, one of our new writers, Derek Kirby, joins us now to discuss a lot of different things when it comes to the Cowboys, the Cardinals, and Friday night's festivities. Pleased to be joined now by the one and the only, the legendary, the incomparable, internationally famous. You've seen him all over the internet, all over blogoftheboys.com as of late. One of our newest contributors over in the BTB universe. It is Derek Kirby. DK, thanks so much for taking the time to join us on the preview show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
So you are one of the newer contributors, as mentioned, at blogoftheboys.com, one of the newer faces. People will start seeing you around the YouTube channel, hearing you on the podcast feed, hopefully, as we get things going. Your favorite thing about Blog of the Boys, no pressure with the whole world watching you.
I love how in-depth it is as far as like how much content. And it's not just like you can have certain sites that put out like almost empty content, but I feel like anything you go through with Blog and the Boys has good information, good sourcing and everything. It's very rich content that is really good for the fans that want to be as up to date and in touch with their team as possible.
Derek, not biased at all. No big deal. Not like we're paying him off to say this.
It got really good lately too. Like within like the last week or so, I think.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Yeah. That's what Reddit's saying at least. Yes. Derek, I wore a red polo because the Dallas Cowboys visit the Arizona Cardinals on Friday night. It is a 9 p.m. Central Time kick, so be prepared to be up late, get a bang, a Monster, a Red Bull, whatever it is. What are you looking forward to? What do you want to see? I have something. I have a feeling we're going to be a little bit in lockstep. But what do you want to see specifically from the Cowboys, and what is week 1 of the preseason for the rest of the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, with the Cowboys, obviously you score 3 points in the first game. You'd like to see that improve a little bit, but if you looked at like the different stats, like how they did in the box score versus Pittsburgh, they won in terms of total yardage, passing yardage, rushing yardage, first down, sacks, and total plays. Really, it was just the 3 turnovers that killed them. So I'm not terribly worried there, but you'd like to see them be able to cap off drives, and I want to see how the secondary in particular does, because right now I think Anthony Brown is kind of on that bubble a little bit, even though he's the senior most cornerback they have. So I'd like to see him step up, or one of these younger guys keep pushing him to kind of take that spot.
Yeah, it's funny. Among Cowboys fans, there are generally players who everybody's always ready to get rid of, players who everybody feels like are overpaid. And Anthony Brown, just like in a snap, in Maurice Kennedy's interception to Matthew Stafford, just went from guy that everybody was tolerating to get rid of him, don't need him.
Yeah.
Do you think, or I'll put it this way, his odds of making the 53-man roster right now are at what % for you?
Of Anthony Brown making it?
Yeah.
I would probably say, I feel like he's still in the driver's seat because, like you said, Kennedy had that one spectacular play, but we haven't seen enough of that to really do it. And I think his long-standing thing probably puts it somewhere at like 65%, if I had to just throw a guess out there.
Yeah, I'd say so too. That feels about right to me. I agree with you. Definitely want to see the secondary. Want to see more from Kelvin Joseph. Would love to see Israel Mukuamu take another step in this game. I really, Derek, want my concerns about the tackle situation alleviated. It was not a great debut game for Ty Nsekhe. And obviously nobody really has a high level of confidence in either Brandon Knight or Terrence Steele.
Right.
How much pressure would you say revolves around this game, in the sense of, if we don't see what we like, is it time for the Cowboys to call up Russell Okung? Is it time for the Cowboys to figure something out? Or are they just in this situation? Have they made this bet? Now they have to lie in it.
I think in that, with regard to the offensive line in particular, yeah, it was a rough game for Brandon Knight. And the offensive line, if healthy, is good. The problem is we don't know how reliable that is, whether we're talking Tyron or, even Zach Martin's gotten banged up at times. So if health is going to be a factor, like last year, like the wheels completely fell off. If they're going to have struggles like that, then yes, I would say looking at the depth right now, it is concerning to me. That is a red flag for it, because this offense has the potential to be about as prolific as any other in the league, especially with that 3-headed monster at wide receiver. But if your offensive line can't hold up, whether it's breaking down and guys playing but not able to play at a high enough level to be effective, or you're having to go with your backups that aren't able to really step up to that challenge, then you're going to have a hard time moving the ball, unless your receivers are able just to break big plays, and because you can't get downfield, right? Like it's going to make you a little bit more one-dimensional than you would like.
Yeah, and I think something that nobody wants to admit, that everybody kind of knows, it's just one of those things, it's like Voldemort's name, like you don't say it out loud, is it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when either Tyron or Lyle are going to miss some time, especially now that we live in a world with 17 games in the regular season as opposed to 16. Something else I don't think people realize, to put in perspective how long this reality has existed, Dak has never played an entire season with Tyron Smith. The last time he did it was 2015, obviously predating Dak and Zeke's arrival with the team. And so you are going to have to rely on that swing tackle, whoever it is. And if it's Ty Nsekhe, I think you really want to feel good about it. And right now that isn't the case. He wasn't having a great camp even before the Pro Football Hall of Fame game. And now he's, just kind of floundering, or at least floundered against Pittsburgh. Is he the player with the most pressure, or the most expectation, maybe that's not even the right word, to deliver on Friday night?
I think he needs to step up majorly. Like you said, that's the role that they're going to need for him, is more than likely going to have to be relied on in this upcoming season. And so I think he has to be able to step up, because this is a point of concern. I think with each passing year now, not just because of obviously like Dak getting paid and things like that, there's more pressure, I feel like, for the Cowboys to finally win now. And I feel like even from the top with Jerry, you saw him getting emotional before the start of camp and everything. I think he's kind of getting to that point where he's looking at it and understanding, like, it's been a long time. And for him, realistically, time is kind of starting to draw a little bit short. And so I think there's that pressure and that urgency that they're feeling that I think will make an impact. If they see something that is a glaring weakness, they're going to try and be aggressive, more aggressive, I would say, than they've been in recent years to plug that gap.
Yeah, and I think people look at the roster and they think like, oh, they're win now, and that makes sense. But I think being win now is also associated with the environment around you. At some point, theoretically, the NFC East is going to regress to the mean. We talk so much about regressing to the mean in different capacities, different statistics. The Cowboys missing so many games due to injuries last year. At some point, the Giants and the Eagles and Washington will get it together and at least be competent teams, and you won't have this cakewalk all the way to the playoffs, which the Cowboys have and should take advantage of. Do you think shifting to somebody that's obviously going to be a focal point in their hopeful playoff run, do you think it's possible that Micah Parsons gets his hands on a football again? I feel like that would break. People say break the internet too much. Like, I don't want to be that guy, but I mean, it would be absurd if he managed to get another turnover in his second preseason game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised at all. He's really had a nose for the ball. His instincts look really good. He's flying around constantly. You're going to see he's a young player and everything, and obviously there's going to be times where he gets fooled on a play. But right now, his reacting, like the fumble recovery in the Pittsburgh game, his instincts on that and his reaction were so much faster than Jalen Smith, who was right there with him. And I'm not trying to just dog on Jalen in that regard.
You don't have to try too hard. It's
pretty easy to do, I guess. But I feel like as well, it's also a testament to Parsons' quick twitch in that regard, and just how, he didn't jump on the ball and knock it away, and then suddenly you have the mad scramble like you would have on a different fumble later in the game. It was just down on top of it immediately, and it just was secure. And I think you're going to see more plays, not just in the preseason, but I think he will be an impact player playing all over the field for Dallas, who is just routinely around the ball and will make some big plays for them.
My last one for you, Derek. This game has a Pac-12 after dark feel to it. Obviously, being in Arizona, it's the nightcap on Friday night, and then the NFL has a whole ton of games happening on Saturday. So there will be some loosed up people watching this game. Who should they be looking for in the fourth quarter when it's approaching midnight and everybody's tired? Everybody's, at that point, the recliner, the feet have been up for a while, but you've leaned all the way back. So who is the kind of lower down the person, the fourth quarter player that you're going to be paying attention to on Friday night?
DiNucci's always good for entertainment, whether it's throwing sidearms that usually don't really develop into anything, but it looks nice. Whether it's those kind of plays, that's always someone that gets a lot of attention whenever he's in. It's a polarizing player. He's probably going to be obviously a practice squad stashed player, but always one of those guys that it seems like there's something interesting going on when he's in the game, it feels like.
Yeah, at the very least, Twitter will be a buzz for Ben DiNucci. He does have one of the cooler
Cowboys
new
Nation
helmets.
a buzz as well late at night. That's
very true. Derek Kirby, as my dog barks in the background, he's very pleased to meet you, as everybody else is. You can follow him on Twitter at KirbyCreate_DDP. He'll be popping around, like we said, throughout the season on the YouTube channel and on the podcast as well. DP, not DP. The P throws me off because I'm so used to Dan Patrick. But DK, thank you for taking the time to join us. We look forward to having you around soon.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot to Derek Kirby. My mic was on mute there, for taking the time to join us. Great conversation, great insight, obviously, in terms of what to expect from the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals this weekend. I think we all have the same concerns when it comes to the offensive line. We're all anxious to see the secondary. We're all very excited to see some wide receivers pop. Really, we're all excited to see some touchdowns. And that's kind of something that I think is a great way to kind of finish off our kind of keys to watch, factors to watch, whatever cute little name you want to put on it. Where are the touchdowns? All right, we didn't get a single one last week. All right, and I know we all enjoyed the Hall of Fame game in its own way. Football was back, and the Cowboys got off to a nice lead. It was 3-0 at halftime when Dak Prescott spoke and did his interview with Fox and everything. But we want to see some touchdowns, and we want to see specifically certain players score some touchdowns. If Garrett Gilbert's going to be this team's QB2, we want to see him be able to move the offense. I maintain that he should not play a ton, especially if he is going to be the Cowboys QB2, given the situation involving Dak Prescott. Not that I think that that's a serious thing, but that means Garrett Gilbert is important if he's QB2 to this team, so you shouldn't be risking him a whole ton in the preseason, but we do have to see how he acts, how he reacts, obviously, with this offense. Definitely want to see him get involved. Definitely want to see him put up some points. Want to see Cooper Rush put up some points. And look, I don't mean to say this to bag on him because everybody's had an opportunity to do so over the last week, but Ben DiNucci is not the guy to showcase the rest of your offense. If you want to see Malik Turner, if you want to see Sean McEwen, if you want to see Jeremy Sprinkle, if you want to see Rico Dowdle out of the backfield, if you want to see Nick Ralston catch some passes in the flat, if you want to see those things, if you want to be able to truly discern what those players are, who they are, what they can do, how they can contribute to your team potentially throughout the season, if you want a fair, true, accurate reading off of them, you cannot send them out there with Ben DiNucci. And again, it sounds like we're really just going to town on Ben DiNucci and how bad he is, etc. But the reality is he is very bad. And that's unfortunate. We're all rooting for him to be better. I hope he's better against Arizona. But you are not giving everybody else a fair shake at proving themselves on this roster with him there at quarterback. Look, let's see some Cooper Rush. I'm not, I think I've said before, we already know who Cooper Rush is, but Cooper Rush at least allows the other players to flourish and showcase what they can potentially contribute to this team, which is what we ultimately want to see. We know the quarterback situation with the Cowboys. What we're looking for is depth in other areas. We want to see this offensive line. We want to see these wide receivers. We want to see these tight ends. We want to see these running backs and Nick Ralston and fullbacks, etc. So let's focus on getting somebody out there that can actually drive this thing, that can steer this ship, and hopefully put some points on the board, because I think that's going to go a long way and have everybody feel better. Once upon a time, Lance Lenoir, proved his worth in Arizona in a preseason game. So who will that be this week? I don't know. But I do know one thing, and that's that the Cowboys are going to win this game. I know I said this last week. Look, it's a preseason. All right. And ultimately, whoever wins doesn't matter. The score is maybe the most meaningless thing to come from this game. What we want to see is improvement. We want to see positive steps. We want to see growth. We want to see overall evolution in terms of the way the Cowboys offense and defense functions. That's what we want to see. We want to see more of Micah Parsons. We want to see some Leighton Vander Esch. We want to see some Jalen Smith. We want to see some Trayvon Diggs. We want to see, what I want to see? Maurice Kennedy has really obviously been popping and really been impressing a lot of people. The guys on Talking the Star talked about him this week on the Blog on the Boys podcast network. Make sure you go subscribe, leave a rating, write a review there as well. But I want to see Maurice Kennedy do it against somebody else like he did against Matthew Stafford in practice. And so this is an opportunity to do that. I don't know how much Kyler Murray is going to play. We all obviously know how Kyler Murray feels about the Cowboys. We learned that this offseason. But I want to see some of these. I guess what I'm saying is I want to see some of our convictions that we feel about this team being the Cowboys. I want to see those substantiated. I want to see those justified. I want to see those fortified. And the preseason is an opportunity for that to happen. So that's really exciting. Cowboys are going to win. Like I said, not the most meaningful thing, the preseason score. So it is what it is ultimately. But I've got the Cowboys winning. It's not going to be a high-scoring affair. That's the way the preseason goes. This game's going to keep us all up super late on Friday night because, again, it kicks off at 9 p.m. Central Time. But the good news is hopefully you have a chance to sleep in on Saturday or catch a nap. You've been working hard. You've been working for the weekend. You need that in your life. So get your meal, get your whatever you're putting together to enjoy the game. As soon as it's over, come here to the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel. We will be going live to discuss what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like. We'll sprinkle in some highlights. We'll have a good time. Speaking of highlights, we will have a highlight package for you available the day after the game, which this week obviously falls on a Saturday. That's kind of our routine. If you haven't caught up, it's preseason for you and me too. We're getting on the same page, right? Finding our rhythm, finding our rhyme, feeling that rhythm, feeling the rhyme. Come on up. It's bobsled time. So yeah, I'm pumped. This is an actual preseason week across the NFL. I was pumped for last week, and I know you were too. And it was kind of cool that the Cowboys were the only team playing in the preseason, but still, now we have games happening all over the place. On Thursday night, there's a couple of games. Friday, there's a lot of games. Saturday, there's a lot of games, and Sunday, there's one game. So, hey, we got football here. As people have told you a billion times, there are no more weeks without football until like February, whatever it is. It's football season, football time. Let's enjoy it. Let's experience it together. The coolest thing I always say about Blogging the Boys is that we are a network of Dallas Cowboys fans who get to experience this with one another. That is so cool that we can all come together. We could talk about our favorite team. We could talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, what we want to see, what we want to improve. And I'm curious to see how much of this game appears in next Tuesday's episode of Hard Knocks. We know that they have to show us the fight with the Rams and the practice with the Rams from last week on Tuesday. So they're kind of catching up to where we're at. Things are fun. Things are interesting. There's a lot happening here. So please do subscribe to the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel so you don't miss out on anything that we are doing here. Once again, my name is RJ Ochoa. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at RJ Ochoa. If email is more your speed, you can shoot me an email, rj.ochoa@sbnation.com. We have articles coming out constantly at Blogging the Boys. You can follow us on Twitter at Blogging the Boys, on Instagram at blogging.the.boys. You can go like us on Facebook. Once again, subscribe to our podcast. We have you covered in every single way. If you enjoy Dallas Cowboys content, I promise you, we have a way to get to you. You know why? Because you mean a lot to us. And you know what? We hope you have a great day. We hope you have the best day ever. I hope you have the best day of all time. I hope you just, whatever day you're watching this on, whether it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I hope it is the greatest day that you have ever had. You know why? Because you deserve it. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We love you all. We'll see you next time.